reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. Hello! Happy Thursday to everyone. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. We're going to be talking sports. You're listening to the Scoreboard on this 5 o'clock hour. Hopefully everybody heading home, being safe on those roads today. It's hot. Don't let that hot weather cause a hot temper on the roads. Be safe getting home. 844-STUDIO-4. We're going to talk sports for the next, about 53 minutes or so. There's a lot going on in the world of sports. Man, oh man. Did you see what happened yesterday down in Charlotte? Were you paying attention to what happened in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium? Uruguay, Colombia. Semifinals for the Copa Americas. Embarrassing. A lot of embarrassing. Brawls in the stands with fans and players up there and family members unable to get to the field. No security to be seen whatsoever. There was a sight to be seen last night. And I did watch the game, Uruguay and Colombia. It was a pretty decent game, I'd say. Colombia got out to that 1-0 lead, ended up playing the game with 10 players after a red card was shown, and they held on, surprisingly. You know, you see a team go down to 10 players, and you instantly think, oh boy, the other team is going to at least equalize. Well, Uruguay was unable to do that. Luis Suarez had a pretty good opportunity late in the game, completely missed the net. And I heard the commentary and the commentators say, man, you got to at least give yourself a chance here. Hit the net. Make the goaltender make a save. I feel like it should be really hard to miss the net in soccer, especially for a professional athlete representing their country. Like, look, the net is huge. How do you miss it? I know, I'm not making fun of you soccer players out there. I'm not. I'm just saying, how? How does this happen? Other things going on around the world of sports. Man, there's some baseball news today. Paul Skenes, everybody paying attention to Paul Skenes, the phenom pitcher with the Pirates. 7-inning, no-hit game with 11 strikeouts. Earlier today, he was pulled in the middle of his no-hit bid. That game, by the way, is now over. The Pirates ended up winning 1-0, and it was not a no-hitter to be had, as the Milwaukee Brewers were able to gather 2 hits late in that game. It took Paul Skenes being pulled from the game, but hey, they got a couple of hits, so they didn't get no hit. We're going to talk a little bit of NASCAR today. We have some drivers that we're going to hear from as we go to the Tricky Triangle. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about Bubba Wallace being fined by NASCAR. We talked about Noah Gragson moving over to Front Row Motorsports as he was able to nab a ride for the 2025 season after his ride basically shut down. So we'll hear from a couple of drivers ahead of the race at Pocono, and we'll go over who the favorite is this weekend, because there are some betting favorites. I have the numbers for you in front of me. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. It is going to be an interesting one today. The biggest news story of the day is definitely what went on in the Copa Americas last night. Yesterday, you also had semifinals for Euros. We talked about that during yesterday's show because the game ended about 5 minutes before we went on the air here. So, Spain in the Euros. They got that young kid, youngest ever to score in the Euros. Spain will be taking on England. Man, England, who would have thought that they would finally be putting up something to pay attention to here in the world of soccer. We're going to start with what happened last night in the Copa Americas. I know you've probably been hearing about it all day. It was something that happened last night, so why are we talking about it now? Well, because this is my show and I want to talk about it. What an absolutely terrifying game for Uruguay and Colombia. I mean, it was just brutal. You had red cards, one red card at the end of the first half from Colombia after they had taken a 1-0 lead in the 39th minute. And then Guillermo Varela was given a red card right at the end of the game. I really thought Uruguay was going to win this one because, well, once you go down to 10 players, it's hard to push. It's hard to make any kind of run at the opposing team's goal. And there were some chances there for Colombia at the end of the game. There was a misplay by the keeper of Uruguay, and man, it was like a 3-on-1, and somehow they didn't convert. Don't get me started on that one. But with that red card, you could see it in the possession numbers, in the shot numbers, pretty much everywhere. Uruguay had control in the second half. They outpossessed Colombia 62-38, but nobody cares about what happened on the field in between the whistles, do they? Everybody's talking about what happened in the stands after the game. Fights galore, players getting into the stands and fighting fans. Security was nowhere to be found. I mean, I saw a couple of videos of it, and it's really sad. It really is sad to see when there's fans absolutely brawling and there's like 1 or 2 security officers there. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do much when you have 100 people around you fighting. So maybe something to look at for Bank of America Stadium if they ever want to host another international game again. Now, I told you yesterday, I said, if you're going to the game, please be safe. And I didn't say it at the time, but it's because these international soccer games have a tendency of getting out of hand. There's a lot of passion behind these fans. Colombia, the world's longest winning streak right now. Over 20 games without a loss. There's a lot of passion in soccer. And we saw it run over here at Charlotte at the Bank of America Stadium last night. You know, my favorite part was after the game, they threw it back to Alexi Lawless and the crew, and they keep cutting to the stadium. Yeah, it's not over yet. There's still a lot of fighting going on. And you have the overhead sky cam just going over the stands, showing the fighting, and it's like, man, this is embarrassing. It's now 20 minutes after the game. Why are we still fighting? We'll talk a little bit more about the soccer game after this commercial break. I want to hear from you. 844-STUDIO-4, 844-788-3464. What do you think of the antics from last night? Call me up, let me know. But don't go anywhere because we'll be back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the break in humidity was nice, but it definitely was short. It's already working its way back in as we go into this evening. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. It gets muggy again as temperatures fall into the mid-70s. Outlying spots and farms could even see low 70s waking up Friday morning. Not really going to end our drought, but a chance for a couple of showers or downpours, even thunderstorm possible on our Friday. Mostly cloudy sky, high temperatures in the mid and upper 80s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like iCats Public Transit.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Thursday, July 11th, Untethered Soul makes their Langtree Live debut. The band is a unique, creative, soulful reimagination of the music that shaped American culture. Grab your chairs and head to Langtree in Mooresville for the 7 p.m. performance of Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia. This Friday, Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville present the Wilson Strong Cookout. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., stop by for a barbecue plate and sides in support of Matt Wilson. We'll see you at Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville this Friday to support Matt with the Wilson Strong Cookout. On Friday, Envision rocks Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville. This first-class dynamic vocal group delivers a high-energy stage show complete with professional choreography and silky smooth harmonies. Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville welcomes you to the Envision concert on Friday night. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 5 of summer camps begins Monday, July 15th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 4 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, painting, mosaic, mixed media art, and more. The Davidson Community Players present Footloose the Musical on August 8th, 9th, and 10th. For more information on summer camp programs and the theater schedule and tickets, visit canearts.org. That's C-A-I-N arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series heats up the track each week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series night number 8 is on Tuesday, July 16th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Conversations that matter.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to even think about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC News Talk Now. Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
1059, 100.7 WSIC.
Talk sports with Joe Berg.
Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 1059, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. Segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we're back. We'll be here for about another 42 minutes or so. Chatting about sports. We're talking about the game at Bank of America Stadium last night. Oh, what a mess it was. What a mess it was. And like I said, I told you guys, if you're going, be safe. Because of these crazy, passionate, I mean, the fans are not crazy, but they're crazy passionate about their soccer, about their football, should I say. Side note, I saw some story the other day about the word soccer versus the word football. I don't know if anybody listening knows this, but apparently the term soccer was coined by the British. And then they make fun of Americans for calling it soccer. I don't get it. Pretty funny story there. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Let me know what you think about what's going on in the world of sports. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball later on in the show. Paul Skenes with an absolutely dominant and historic performance on the mound tonight. Right now, though, we're going to get into the world of NASCAR, okay? Cup Series racing from the Tricky Triangle, the Pocono Mountains, Pocono Raceway, coming up this weekend. Just so you know, if you're interested in listening to Pocono, the Cup Series at Pocono, you'll be able to. Maybe you're away from your TV, you're in the car driving around while they're racing. Well, if you tune into WSIC on Sunday starting at 1:30, you will be able to catch all the action from the Great American Getaway 400 presented by visitpa.com at Pocono Raceway. That's a mouthful of a sponsor right there. So we have the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, and the Cup Series all in action this weekend. Let's start with the weekend schedule. Starting on Friday, you have practice, qualifying, and a race in the Truck Series. Qualifying is at 2:30. The race is at 5:30. It's the CRC Bracklin 175. I don't even know what that is, but it's the CRC Bracklin 175. Friday night at 5:30. And then you get to your normal Saturday slate where you have Xfinity practice, Xfinity qualifying, and an Xfinity race. You also have Cup qualifying and a little bit of a practice session right beforehand, about 45 minutes or so of practice time. The Xfinity race on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Explore the Pocono Mountains 225. Look at these interesting sponsors for this race. And then on Sunday, like I said, 1:30 here on WSIC, 2:30 on the video, on the, I guess I should say on the satellite channels, USA. It's on USA Network this week, not on NBC proper. And there's no NBC Sports anymore. So the USA Network will be hosting the Cup race. 2:30 Eastern time, 1:30 here on WSIC is when coverage will begin. I told you we would hear from a couple of drivers today, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to hear from Ryan Blaney on the impact of getting his first career win at Pocono. Reminder for you, if you don't remember this was the last time the Wood brothers won a race, the 21 car. Ryan Blaney was able to hold off Kevin Harvick for what seemed like 150 laps, although it was really more like 10, 15 laps or so. To get his first career win, here is Blaney on the impact of that first win at Pocono.
Pocono, I mean, it's one of my favorite wins. You never forget your first one, and especially to do that, with those guys. And I remember walking into their race shop in 2015 before we did the part-time deal that year, and you see everybody up on the wall. They have all the winners up on the wall, and Pearson and Yarborough and all those guys. And you're like, man, I want to be on the wall. I want to be on the wall in their shop up in Stewart. And I never forget the day they hung that picture of me up. And even though it was a very small contributing factor to their 99 wins, like, you're still part of it, and you still have something to do there. So those guys are family. Even when I started driving for Penske, they still consider me part of their family, which is great. And I love seeing Eddie and Len and Leonard.
Yeah, he's still considered part of the family because the Wood brothers are an affiliate with Penske. So, I mean, it's basically just kind of going from a bad car to a good car. Maybe not that black and white, but Ryan Blaney did get his first career win. And he said something there that you got to continue to remember. The Wood brothers are looking for win number 100. They've been looking for win number 100 since Ryan Blaney got that first career win. Next year, it's going to be Harrison Burton who gives them a chance to do that. I thought it was going to be Matt DiBenedetto to get that win in the Wood brothers car. What a shame that he is not in the Cup Series anymore. Great personality and a good driver. Side note, we're going to go off on the side here. I went to the Bristol race. I forget what year it was. It might have been 2021. I'm probably wrong. I went to the Bristol night race that year, and that was the year that Matt DiBenedetto somehow found himself out front with 100 laps to go. And when he made the pass for the lead, that place erupted. Like, you have headphones on, maybe you have a scanner, you could still hear the crowd over your headphones, over the engines, over the commentary in your headset. It was a scene. Poor DiBenedetto no longer in the Cup Series. That is a shame. It really is. Anyway, let's hear from another one of these NASCAR Cup Series driver, another former winner at Pocono. I don't even know how you can consider it a legitimate win. He got lucky, and it is a legitimate win, but he wasn't the fastest car. Alex Bowman was the beneficiary of Kyle Larson blowing a tire going into turn 3 on the final lap a few years ago. And, Bowman, let's hear what Bowman has to say about the key to winning at Pocono.
Yeah, I feel like Pocono, the key to winning there is really having a a short final pit stop to get track position. It's so aero dependent. It's really difficult to pass there. So it really, I feel like that race comes down to strategy every bit as much as it does having a fast race car. So, we were in a really good spot last year and got crashed, but that spot we were in came from pit calls and strategy. So I think that's a big strategy race.
I would like to see NASCAR drivers tell me what tracks do track position matter the most versus not. Because you always hear these buzzwords, oh, you got to have good track position. Oh, you got to have good track position. Okay, is that every single track in the next-gen car? The key to winning is just having good track position? I mean, it seems like that sometimes when you see how hard it is to pass at these tracks sometimes. But Pocono, yeah, that is a track position track because it gets strung out so fast and you can be so far behind so early in that race, so early in a run that you really need to be up front before the leaders check out on you. And you see restarts there. Look, the front stretch could probably have cars go 10 wide, honestly. And you see it on the restarts 3, 4, sometimes even 5 wide, wrecking into turn 1. Well, when you go 3, 4, 5 wide, you're going to slow down in the corners because there's 4 cars next to you, which makes it that much harder to get through the field. Then you lose even more time, and that is why Pocono it's so important to have good track position. And we've seen it over the years. Look, we just talked about Ryan Blaney getting his first career win there. He basically won that race because, well, he was the leader. That's the only reason. Kevin Harvick was right on his tail and just couldn't find a way around him. So the track position won the race. The track position was the first driver, and he won. So Pocono is one of those tracks where you're going to see strategy. You're going to see cars maybe take 2 tires, maybe stay out, maybe find a way, just find a way to get your driver to the front of the field. Because if you can get to the front of the field and you're somewhat competitive, you're going to be able to hang on to a pretty good track position race. Right now, Denny Hamlin is your favorite to win at Pocono. Not a surprise. He won his first race, I believe, at Pocono, and he won quite a few races in the late 2000s, 2010s at the Pocono Raceway. He is plus 400 to win this weekend. Second favorite, Kyle Larson at plus 500. Then you have Truex, Christopher Bell, William Byron are your top 5 favorites to win this weekend. I guess my only surprise there is Martin Truex Jr. And we talked about it yesterday with the Cup Series standings and the playoff picture. If you've won more than 1 race this year, you've won 3 races, and those 3 drivers are Denny Hamlin, or 4 drivers are Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron. I think those are going to be your favorites going into the playoffs. I'm going to say it's going to be hard for a driver to miss the championship race with 3 wins while everybody else has 1, but you never know. You get in a wreck at Talladega, or you have a bad race at Watkins Glen, and your season's over. That's the state of NASCAR now. 1 race can ruin your season. We're going to head to our next commercial break, halfway done on the scoreboard today. We have some news that we're going to get into before we talk Major League Baseball. You're going to want to stay tuned. Paul Skenes is a monster. 844 Studio 4. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the break in humidity was nice, but it definitely was short. It's already working its way back in as we go into this evening. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. It gets muggy again as temperatures fall into the mid-70s. Outlying spots and farms could even see low 70s waking up Friday morning. Not really going to end our drought, but a chance for a couple of showers or downpours, even a thunderstorm possible on our Friday. Mostly cloudy sky, high temperatures in the mid and upper 80s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Does your business provide coffee for employees or customers? Black Powder Coffee can supply you with fresh roasted coffee, a variety of daily signature blends including flavored coffees such as cinnamon roll and Kahlua and cream. We even have bourbon-infused coffee in collaboration with Southern Distilling Company. Visit blackpowdercoffee.com or stop by and see us at 261 Rolling Hill Road in Mooresville. Black Powder Coffee. More than a century ago, Bunch Johnson Funeral Home was founded on compassion. Let us assist you with pre-planning for funerals and cremations. Our family is here when you need us. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions. It's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. Former NFL center Joe Hawley once made headlines by giving away most of his possessions in order to embrace a minimalist lifestyle. Though we may not want to do exactly what he did, Hawley's story can inspire us to take inventory of our own lives. Most of us probably have way too much stuff, and oftentimes we like to chase the next thing we can buy to add to our possessions. Although these things aren't necessarily bad, all too often they consume us, and we end up being focused on the wrong stuff. The Bible says, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. In other words, when our hearts are focused on God, we care about what He cares about and aren't so entangled with possessions that don't last or truly satisfy. Today, let's regard Jesus as our greatest treasure and be willing to give up anything that holds us back from following Him. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Mixed on Wall Street as the Dow gained 32 points or 0.1%. The Nasdaq got hammered, falling 364 points or almost 2%, while the S&P saw a drop of 0.9%. Tesla's delaying its planned unveiling of its robo-taxi to October from its planned August 8th date. The postponement is said to allow teams to build more prototypes as the electric car maker looks to rework certain elements of the car. Tesla has been flirting with an autonomous taxi service for years, with the project being prioritized in recent months. Apple's looking to ship around 90 million iPhone 16s in the second half of this year, hoping artificial intelligence fuels the demand. The company is targeting around a 10% growth after shipping 81 million iPhone 15s in the second half of last year. Costco says it's boosting its basic membership fee by $5 starting on September 1st. The price of a premium membership is rising $10. The increase in membership pricing is a first for Costco since 2017. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Scoreboard here. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Maybe you have something you want to talk about. We've been all over the place today. It's been an interesting day here on the Scoreboard. Started out the show talking about the 2024 Copa America semifinal down in Bank of America Stadium. And, well, you know the story there. You know what happened. There were some fights in the crowds. Players were getting involved, and nobody's really happy about it. I'm curious to see if there's any fallout from this. I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm definitely curious to see what happens with this. Probably nothing. They don't overreact like NASCAR does. Let's talk a little baseball for you here on this Thursday because we are coming up on the All-Star break. Monday is the Home Run Derby. Tuesday is the All-Star Game, so the Midsummer Classic, right around the corner. Trust me. I didn't think that it was going to come up this fast either. But we're about 100 games into the season now, which means well more than halfway. And that Midsummer Classic usually indicates that we are on the downside of the MLB schedule. Right now, the best team in baseball are the Philadelphia Phillies. 30 wins, 60 wins, 32 losses on the year so far. 3 games behind them are both the Baltimore Orioles and Cleveland Guardians. Then it's the New York Yankees and the LA Dodgers. New York Yankees were the best team in baseball for a while. The Dodgers never really got to that spot. The year started weird. They had some injuries. This is a team that it's not World Series or bust. It's World Series or complete and utter disappointment for the Dodgers with the amount of star power, with the amount of firepower that they have on that team. You would have expected the Dodgers to be the best team in the regular season. But what I will say is, the regular season doesn't matter in baseball. If you can make the dance, get hot at the right time, there you go. Maybe you're a World Series champion at the end of the day. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Some baseball news for you. Paul Skenes. Anybody know Paul Skenes? He's the rookie phenom for the Pirates. He had an outing today. He goes 7 innings, no hits, and 11 strikeouts. Those 11 strikeouts matched his career high with his first road start at Wrigley Field against the Cubs on the 17th of May. It was also the 8th consecutive start in which Skenes struck out at least 7 batters, the longest streak in franchise history. This is a pretty good outing, I'd say, for the rookie, who, since he became a Major League Baseball player in May, has been the best in baseball. Here's some numbers for you. First half numbers for Paul Skenes. 66 in a third innings, 48 hits, 13 walks, 89 strikeouts, 7 home runs, a 1.90 ERA. His opponent's slash line is 202, 251, 309, which is really good. And he has been the best pitcher in baseball since he debuted on May 11th. Skenes did not allow a hit in that start in Wrigley Field either, the one that I was talking about from May 17th. In the history of the National and American League, Paul Skenes and Nolan Ryan are the only 2 pitchers to have multiple starts of 6 or more innings with 11 or more strikeouts and 0 hits in the exact same season. He has done this twice, where he's gone at least 6 innings, struck out 11, and not allowed a hit. Now, the Pirates did end up pulling him from the game. He was at 99 pitches through 7. Protect his arm. The kid's young. The Pirates, you're not doing anything this year. That's for sure. So, don't kill the guy's arm. Rest him a little bit. Take him out when he hits those 99 pitches and say, all right, maybe one year when we're really good, we'll leave you in for that game. The Pirates did end up winning this game 1-0 against the Brewers, and the Brewers with 2 hits late in the game to break up the combined no-hitter bid. Right now, the Pirates, 45 wins, 48 losses. Not the best season that they could be having, but they're not out of it. We've talked about the National League and how they started out the year really poorly with a lot of teams in the National League playing under 500 baseball. There was a point where there were only 4 teams in the National League who were 500 or better. Well, that seems to have kind of moved on. We are now up to 7 teams in the National League who are above 500. So it's worked itself out. That sounds a little bit more normal. The New York Mets currently have the last spot in the National League wild card. They're tied with the San Diego Padres, but with the amount of games being played, they have the tiebreaker. Then it's the Arizona Diamondbacks, 1.5 game backs, and then your Pittsburgh Pirates are right there. So if you're a Paul Skenes fan, maybe the Pirates end up in the playoffs. I mean, they're only 2.5 back. It's not absurd to think that they could make a late summer push and possibly grab a playoff spot. Now, there's still a trade deadline coming up at the end of July that we're going to see what teams are actually interested in making those playoffs and what teams are still on the rebuild trail. But just a little bit of an update for you. The 2 teams that played in the World Series last year were the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right now, the Texas Rangers are 44-49, 7 games out of a wild card spot, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are 46-47, a game and a half out of the wild card. The Diamondbacks won 85 games last year when they made the playoffs and ended up going to the World Series. So you really never know. If you, like I said, if you make the dance, you have a chance. And it rhymes, so you know it's true. So that's what's going on in the world of baseball right now. We still have a few days before we do get to that All-Star break. An update for you on the standings. Your division leaders are the Baltimore Orioles, Cleveland Guardians, and Seattle Mariners still in the American League, and no change in the National League. Still got the Phillies, Brewers, and Dodgers leading those divisions. None of them really super close. I guess you could say the AL East at 2 games back for the Yankees and the AL West at 2 games back for the Astros are pretty close right now. But we still got a long way to go. Those are the only 2 that could possibly change who is atop the division before the All-Star break. We're heading to our final commercial of the day here on the Scoreboard, 844 Studio 4. When we come back, we're going to go over some news that's been breaking during the day, some interesting court rulings regarding the NCAA. You're going to want to stick around and hear about that. Don't go anywhere. I promise it'll be worth it. We'll be back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the break in humidity was nice, but it definitely was short. It's already working its way back in as we go into this evening. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. It gets muggy again as temperatures fall into the mid-70s. Outlying spots and farms could even see low 70s waking up Friday morning. Not really going to end our drought, but a chance for a couple of showers or downpours, even thunderstorm possible on our Friday. Mostly cloudy sky, high temperatures in the mid and upper 80s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Thursday, July 11th, Untethered Soul makes their Langtree Live debut. The band is a unique, creative, soulful reimagination of the music that shaped American culture. Grab your chairs and head to Langtree in Mooresville for the 7 p.m. performance of Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia. This Friday, Trailers of the East Coast in Moxville present the Wilson Strong Cookout. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., stop by for a barbecue plate and sides in support of Matt Wilson. We'll see you at Trailers of the East Coast in Moxville this Friday to support Matt with the Wilson Strong Cookout. On Friday, Envision rocks Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville. This first-class dynamic vocal group delivers a high-energy stage show complete with professional choreography and silky smooth harmonies. Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville welcomes you to the Envision concert on Friday night. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 5 of summer camps begins Monday, July 15th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 4 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, painting, mosaic, mixed media art, and more. The Davidson Community Players present Footloose the Musical on August 8th, 9th, and 10th. For more information on summer camp programs and the theater schedule and tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series heats up the track each week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series night number 8 is on Tuesday, July 16th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
If you have an upcoming event, let WSIC spread the word. Go to WSICnews.com and click on the Community Calendar button. WSIC, proud to be part of your community.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Final segment here on the Scoreboard. I'm going to sit down for this final segment. Yeah, because I'm going to be reading some news to you guys. We got some things going on, some breaking news, things we got to discuss here on the Scoreboard. You could still call in 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. All right, here we go. From a couple of hours ago, court ruling seeks test to decide if athletes are employees. College athletes whose efforts primarily benefit their schools may qualify as employees deserving of pay under federal wage and hour laws, a U.S. appeals court ruled Thursday. And we've talked about this. Division I athletes are not amateurs, but the NCAA continues to say that they are. And now there's NIL. We've seen rumblings and possibility of a union being formed. And now another court saying that, hey, these players might deserve to get paid. The court said a test should be developed to differentiate between students who play college sports for fun and those whose efforts cross the legal line into work. Now, I do have a little bit of a problem with that because if you play college sports and if it's a team sport, well, so what if it's for fun? You're part of the team. You're definitely helping the college if you're part of the team. It sounds like it would cross into legal work. U.S. Circuit Judge Felipe Restrepo said, with professional athletes as the clearest indicators, playing sports can certainly constitute compensable work. Ultimately, the touchstone remains whether the cumulative circumstances of the relationship between the athlete and college or NCAA reveal an economic reality that is that of an employee-employer. The judge questioned the difficulty of the process, noting that 200,000 student athletes compete on nearly 6,700 D1 teams. The NCAA had hoped for the case to be dismissed, but it will instead go back to the trial judge for fact-finding. We are a few years away from college athletes being employees. We are. And it's going to be messy. If you don't believe that it's going to be messy, well, just take a look at what happened with NIL. It is currently the Wild West. And nobody knows what's going on with NIL. There's no cap on it. There's no, hey, if you sign your NIL deal, you have to go to this school for 4 years. There's a transfer portal. It's kind of a mess right now. So if you don't think that a court saying that athletes should be paid by the schools directly is going to cause a problem, well, you haven't been paying attention all that well. So that's a little bit of a update for you on the world of sports, the world of college sports. I have a sad headline here for you and a sad story. Former MLB player Sean Burroughs, a winner of the Little League World Series, a 2000 Olympic gold medalist, and a first-round pick in the MLB draft, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 43. His mother, Debbie, told Southern California News Group that the cause of death was cardiac arrest. The medical examiner says that the cardiac arrest was caused by a fentanyl overdose. A very, very unfortunate story there. That is according to the LA County Medical Examiner. Burroughs told ESPN in a June 2011 interview that he had a substance abuse problem and vowed to turn his life around. Unfortunately, he has been taken from us far too young at the age of 43. Played for the Padres, Rays, Diamondbacks, and Twins. Over 500 Major League Baseball games played in his career. Very sad story here out of the MLB with Sean Burroughs passing away at the age of 43. We're going to lighten the load a little bit here. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league is committed to following the litigation all the way in a nearly decade-long defense of its premier Sunday ticket product, after Goodell basically said the court is wrong. So an LA jury ordered the NFL last month to pay $4.7 billion in damages to the residential class and another $76 million to the commercial class of a class action lawsuit that accused the league of violating antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on their subscription service. The league could be liable of a total of $14.39 billion because damages are tripled under federal antitrust laws. Seems like the NFL is going to fight this to the end. We don't see the NFL lose in court all that much, but this could be one of those cases where they are going to lose. Sunday Ticket, I'm pretty sure they don't have a way for you to just choose one team. Like, hey, I only want to get Carolina Panther games. Now, I don't know why you would do that here because you can't. They're in-market games, so it would be blacked out anyway. So let's just say, I don't know, San Francisco 49ers. I only want to watch 49er games. Well, you still got to purchase the entirety of NFL Sunday Ticket. So I think that's kind of the crux of the issue here. I'm not sure if the NFL is going to change it anytime soon to avoid this lawsuit. And I don't know what the end result could possibly be here. But the NFL might be losing in court, and they could be liable for over $14 billion in damages. We're going to wrap things up as we only have a few minutes remaining on the program here today with some things that happened on this day in sports history. A couple of days ago, we talked about Babe Ruth being traded from the Orioles minor league affiliate over to the Boston Red Sox. Well, guess what? On this day in 1914, Babe Ruth made his MLB debut as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He earned a 4-3 win against the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. Yes, the Cleveland Naps. Like go take a nap, like sleeping. The Cleveland Naps that was the name of the team before they changed to the Indians and then now the Guardians. Also, on this day in sports history, actually not that long ago, Serena Williams becomes the oldest winner in Open era after beating her opponent 6-4, 6-4. That was 2015 in Wimbledon. On this day in 2021, the Copa America final in Rio de Janeiro, Argentina beat Brazil 1-0, and Lionel Messi was named player of the tournament in his first major international title victory. And as we know, the year after, he would go on to win the World Cup with Argentina. That Copa America final was really the start of their run to the World Cup because they got the confidence that they can win an international tournament. Like I said, it was his first major international title victory, so it was a lot of disappointment up until then. But on this day, 2021, Argentina won Copa America. They have a chance to do it again on Sunday. And lastly, on this day in 2021, the Euros, the 2021 Euros at Wembley Stadium, Italy wins its first Euro title since 1963 after they beat England 3-2 in penalties after the score was locked at 1 in regulation time and extra time. Italy, they got eliminated this year, but England is back in the Euro finals, as is Argentina. That's all we got for you today on the scoreboard. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and listening. Hopefully everybody made it home safe on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow is Friday. We got a lot of previewing to do. Until tomorrow, have a good day, everyone. I'll talk to you then.